Dear students, today we'll talk about presentation. And this presentation is mostly for the thesis or the proposal defense. Generally, when you see the students studying in the English department, especially in the honors and the masters, you will see at the end of the course, both for honors and masters, it is quite mandatory to conduct a research. And for the research, you need to defend yourself, or that means you need to face a viva. You will have to go through a defense where you are going to defend or where you are going to talk regarding your thesis or your dissertation. Sometimes the students come up with a problem regarding drafting a presentation using MS PowerPoint for this particular defense. You see, generally this defense is conducted by the students, and the teachers will also be there in the panel. The senior teachers who are responsible for evaluating or for the assessment, they will be there in the board, and there the students will be speaking regarding their presentation, they'll be talking regarding their thesis, and they're going to defend themselves, to talk about the goodness, to talk about the feasibility, the authenticity, and the reliability of their research. So, when you're talking about dissertation, it generally means you have conducted a research. So, you are here to defend your research. So, presentation becomes a problematic issue for many. The main reason is that they do not have linguistic competence. Because when you are presenting using a slideshow, using PowerPoint or any other tool can be used, but the most commonly used platform is MS PowerPoint for this particular slideshow. So when you're having this slideshow, you will have the postulates or the points in front of you. However, you will be discussing them using your own language, using simplified or paraphrased language, so that the panel or the teachers who will be having the responsibility for evaluating or for the assessment, they can understand whether you have the linguistic competence, whether you can communicate, you can bring out the main points, and you can describe about all the good qualities, about all the points that are there in the content of your research. Generally, when I'm talking about a research proposal, you have a title. So you'll be talking in front of the board, in front of the Viva board or the defense board regarding the good features of the title. Why have you selected this title? There should be a definite reason as to why you have selected this particular research title. For example, when you are drafting the presentation or you're formulating the presentation using MS PowerPoint for your research proposal, you definitely got a research title. So you have interacted with your supervisor, and through that interaction, you have created your proposal. Now it's time for the defense. Like, for example, this particular title will also be used for the dissertation in the next semester. And whether it's for MPhil and PhD, that's different. In that case, the proposal will be used in the university for conducting an MPhil degree or for pursuing an MPhil degree, or then you have a PhD program. But here, when you are in the undergraduate and graduate level, the thing is that you have to create a slideshow. So in that proposal, you have a research title, you have an abstract, then you have the introduction, research questions, specific objectives, then you have literature review. Within the review, you have the in-text citations, and then you have the research gap. So this particular research gap is used to tell the defense board or the Viva panel as to why your research is important. Why will the readers and the other researchers or the other people will be spending some time to read your research? There should be something new, there should be something exclusive, something fresh, and that is what is going to make your research more interactive and more readable. So you need to prove the gap. What is new in your research? What is there in your research but it is not there in other researches? So that is a part of the literature review. So when you're creating the literature review, you can be very careful, because you need to have the in-text citations very carefully, and you need to follow MLA, or you can have Chicago style, then you have APA. So whatsoever has been decided by the supervisor or the institution, you follow accordingly. And then you can move on to the research methodology. What type of methodology you're going to use? It can be qualitative, quantitative, it can be a mixed research, so you talk about that. And then you generally have the research approach, research design, what approach you can follow. It can be descriptive, it can be analytical. Yeah, so the approach should be very clearly given. Then you have the data collection. So data is something which is very important for any research. The data is not there, then the research is not there. On the basis of the data, you create the research. right? So data can be primary, secondary. So whatsoever is the pattern, you put it down. Okay. And then you have the data analysis. From the data, you've got the analysis done. That can be part of the discussion analysis also. And then you have the conclusion, and then you have the citations. So when you're creating the presentation, you should have the title, you can have the major contents, and those contents should be highlighted in the slideshow such a way so that you can quickly, elaborately, you can talk about them, and you can explain regarding the goodness, the reliability, the authenticity, or the good quality of your research proposal, as to why you have chosen this title. You're proposing the research panel, you're proposing the defensive viva panel as to why this can be used to conduct a research in the next semester. So you are seeking for permission in an official way. So that should be done with the help of the presentation. All right, that is what comes in the proposal. So sometimes the institutions make it clear whether you can have 7 slides or 8 slides. Within those slides, you create a PowerPoint slideshow. In that, you will be highlighting all the important points, and based on the points, you will be discussing in front of the Viva board, and then you will be assessed and evaluated accordingly. And same goes for the dissertation Viva also, that is in the next semester. You should have all the titles evaluated, why you have selected this title, and the contents that are there for your particular dissertation should be explained properly so that the Viva board comes to know that yes, this is the right research title. We should be reading this research, and this research can be benefiting the world of research. It can also benefit the students in the long run of life. So you can have the slideshow done in such a way according to the instructions available by the department, or you can also have according to the instructions that you have from the institution. Accordingly, you might have 8 slides, 9 slides, or 10 slides, doesn't matter. So you have all the important points. You have got your file and the binding done. So from there, you can just use the soft copy and bring down the important points in your slideshow. So it's just up to you, right? How interactive is your slideshow? You cannot just see everything from the slide and then you explain. Everyone can read, everyone can explain by seeing on this computer screen or the projector screen. But the quality comes in when you see the important points and you explain using your own language. So this simplified pattern makes you a good presenter. You can use 7 to 8 slides for the proposal, and for the dissertation, you can use 8 to 9 slides, taking all the important points, right? The abstract, the keywords, then you have objectives, research question, literature review, research gap, methodology, then you have data collection, data analysis, then you have conclusion, limitations, budget, anything that is very important, you should bring it down in the presentation. And most importantly, discuss it with the supervisor. There's nothing to be nervous. Just bring down all the important points and present it using your own language. You take the main highlighted idea from the projector, from the projected screen, and then you just present it. So that's all. So there's nothing to be very serious. There's nothing to be very, very nervous. You can just do it, provided your language should be good, simplified, and easy. It should be clarified so that people understand, listen, and they can understand the scope of the entire research. Thank you.